Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Men's Graphics here. Always great to have you guys. And today guys, I'll be showing you how to create a burger ad flyer for social media using Photoshop. So I'll be doing my best to tell you guys the procedures and the steps and all the techniques that you can use to create this flyer. So without further ado guys, let's get started. So guys, for this project, I'll be using a 2000 by 2000 pixel size, a 300 resolution, and an RGB color mode. I will tell this selected, I'll head over to create, and we are being greeted by our workspace right here. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be placing the image that I'll be using as my background. So I'll head over to File, Place Embedded, and then I'll head over to the folder where I have my resource files. And do also remember that all the files that I'll be using for this project, all the images, all the fonts can be found in the description. So I'll be dropping a link that will lead you to my Dropbox where you can get all the files that I use for this project. So let me just okay, let me get this one message out of the way, and I'll head over to the folder, and then I'll be placing this image right on my workspace. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this image, and I'm going to flip it vertically, and okay, we have this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this image straight away. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate it. So let me name this background layer. Okay, and then for this I'll just name this duplicate. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit Ctrl T on my keyboard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this vertically again, and okay, so let me just drag it down, and then what I'm going to do to this duplicate layer is I'm going to right click, and I'll head over to rasterize layer, and then I'll grab my eraser, and I'll have to make sure that my brush size is set at 1300, and then my hardness is set to 0. Okay, so with all that selected, I'll use my eraser to clear some parts of this layer. That's the upper part of this image. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'll head over to the background layer, and then what I want to do is I want to head over to filter, and then I'll head over to blur, and for the blur that I'll be using Gaussian blur. So for this, I'll be setting my values to the radius to 30 pixels. Okay, so let me just set that. Okay, and as you can see, what I actually did was to blur the upper part of this image, and then leave the lower part, the duplicated layer. So let me just blur this more, because I noticed there are still some tiny details that I want to get off. So let me just head over to Gaussian blur again, and then this time around I'll be using 35. Okay, so I think this is better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Ctrl T on my keyboard and expand this a little bit. Okay. So I think this is quite okay. This is quite okay to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to by hitting Ctrl, I'm going to select these both layers, and I'm going to right click, and what I want to do is I want to convert both of them to a smart object, and then I'll change the layer name to background, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be placing the image of the object, or the image of the element that I'm trying to advertise. And for this case, I'm trying to advertise a burger to my audience, that I'm actually that people can actually order for a burger from the app. Like, it's actually like a food agency. I'm trying to tell their customers that they can now order a juicy and delicious burger right from their app. So that's what I'm trying to implement in this design, and you know, there's no better way to pass that message than to get an image of a juicy and delicious burger. So let me just place the image right here. 5, place embedded, and then I'll be placing this image right here. As you can see, if you notice, the image is actually very, very clear. This is actually something most people don't know. Whenever you're designing flyers for social media, always try your best to use high quality images that will make your design look nice, because one thing about social media designs is that you want to get the attention of the person who will be looking at that flyer. So try your best to use high quality images. So there are many websites that you can download high quality images, both PNG or JPG. So let's just head back to the design. So what I want to do is I want to hit Ctrl T on my keyboard once again, and I'm going to reduce this image a little bit. Okay, now take it down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this background layer, and I'll take it above the burger image, and then for the blend mode for this layer, I'll be setting it to overlay, and then for my fill, I'll be setting it to 29. So what I want to do is that I want to blend the image of this burger to the background. What I'll do is I'll create a clipping mask. So I just want it to be on the burger, not on the full background. So to actually fix that, I have to come here, the layer, and then I'll right click and I'll head over to create clipping mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this once again, and I'm still going to clip it to the burger. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these layers, and I'm going to convert them to a smart object so that all of them will be together. And then what I want to do is I want to duplicate this. Okay. So I'll name this burger copy, and I think I'll just name this burger. So after naming these layers, I'll head over to the burger copy, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this image. So let me just hit Ctrl T on my keyboard. So there are two ways that I can actually do this. I can actually rotate this manually, or I can just set the values right here. So this is the place I can rotate. I can set the rotation value. So let me set it to 10 degrees. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce this a little bit. I'll take it behind the main burger layer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. So this time around I'll be using 20 pixels for the radius, because I don't want it to appear too blurred. So let me just leave it like this, and then I'll hit OK. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to duplicate this burger copy, Ctrl J, and then I'll hit Ctrl T, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. So okay, so once that is done, I'm going to drag it to the other part of the design. Okay, so I'm just making sure that both of them are aligned properly, and once we've done that, I'm going to group these two layers together. Okay, so once I have these two layers grouped, I'm going to rename the layer name to burger blur, and then what I want to do is I want to hit Ctrl A on my keyboard, and then I'll make sure that it's aligned to the center. Okay. So for the next step, I'm going to be adding the text. What is the better way of passing your message in a design and adding text? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding text to this design. Okay, let me just type in the text that I'll be using, which is burger. Okay, let me increase this. And for the typeface that I'll be using for this text, I'll be using bold. Let me just change the color quickly to white. Okay. Let me just take it above this layer and then bring it down. And then what I want to do is I want to add the second test for this design. And then for the typeface for this, I'll be using semi-bold, and then I'll be using the yellow color for it. And then I'll reduce the text size. Okay, then I'll head over to my character panel and I'll reduce my tracking value to -25. Okay, so let me just drag this above the other layer a little bit. Okay, so we have the test right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this both test and I'll increase it a little bit using my transform control. Let's just get that done. Okay, then for the second test, I'll actually be increasing the tracking value. That's for the first test, sorry. I'll be increasing the tracking value to -80. Okay, so I think that's all for now for the test. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both tests. And then I'm going to right click and then I'll convert this to a smart object. And then what I want to do is I want to head over to my smart object content by clicking on the smart object thumbnail right here. And then I'll head over to image, canvas size. Okay, let me just change this to pixels. And then for my width and my height, I'll be using 8000 by 8000. So for those of you that will be trying out the design of Photopea, always do well to restrict your values to 3000 by 3000. This is because of if you bump this up to 8000 on your Photopea, it can actually hang your phone, because I think Photopea was not designed to carry that much resolution or size. So if you're using this on Photopea, always restrict it to 3000 by 3000. So the reason why I increase it to 8000 is because of I'm actually designing on Photoshop. And even if you increase this to 3000 by 3000 on your Photopea, it's still the same effect that it will give you. So don't bump it up to 8000 so that your phone won't hang or your Photopea won't crash. So with this selected, I head over to OK. And then what I want to do is I want to save. So once that is done saving, I'll head back to the previous window and then I'll hit Ctrl T. And then I head over to this warp icon right here. And then for my warp, I'll set it to wave. And for the bend, I'll be using 5%. So that's all for now for the test. And what I want to do now is I want to add the logo of the fast food and also their QR code. So first of all, I'll be placing the logo of the fast food. Okay, so let me reduce this a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to create guidelines on this. So the reasons why I added this guide is actually to make sure that the QR code is aligned with the logo, because I always use this to make sure that different elements in my design are aligned. So that's why I always use these guidelines to actually make sure I get a high level of precision and order in my designs. I'll head over to my shape tool, and then I'm going to create a shape. So I'll try my best to make this a perfect square. Okay, let me just go with this. And then for the color, I'll be changing the color to white. So this shape is going to be housing my QR code. So let's head over to my folders, and then I'll be placing the QR code to this shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this. So I'm just going to remove all these guidelines that I added before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all this and then I'm going to reduce them a little bit. And then I'll select all the elements we have at the top of the design here, and I'm going to group them together. As you can see, we just have all the top elements. That's the logo and the QR code. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control A, and I'll make sure that this is aligned to the center. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heading above the burger layer. And what I want to do is I want to create a new layer. And then I'll switch these colors, and I'll be using this color right here as my foreground color. And what I want to do is I want to head over to my brush tool, and I'll be increasing the size to 1300 or 1500, and then I'll be leaving my the hardness to 0%. And then what I want to do is I want to reduce the flow a little bit. Okay, let me leave it at 80%. So what I want to do is I want to create a smear of this color right on the lower part of this design, and you'll be seeing the reason why I'll be adding this shortly. So let me just do this quickly. Okay. What I want to do is I want to head over to this background layer, and I'm going to duplicate it. Then I'll take it above this layer that we just created now, and I'm going to create a clipping mask. Okay, once I have that done, I'm going to head over to the blend mode, and the blend mode setting I'll be using for this layer is screen. Okay, so as you can see, it added a very perfect layer blend to this the lower part of the burger, and this is the place where I'll be placing the main message of this design. And I'll be doing that quickly, so I'll head over to my test tool, and then I'll change the color to white, and then for my font I'll be using Eleron. Okay, I'll be using semi-bold as the typeface. Okay, so let me just add the text to the design. And what I just want to make the message of this is to tell people that they can now order for their juicy and delicious burger right from the Foodbox app, and they can download the app from either Play Store or Apple Store. So let me just do that quickly. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to select the text. Okay, so let me just adjust this by heading over to the character panel, and for my leading I'll set my leading to 9pt, and then I'm going to align this to the center. Okay, so I just noticed a mistake on the test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct this. And then I'll be increasing this using the transform controls. So as you can see, the test says you can now order from the Foodbox app and have it delivered at your doorstep. So this is actually the main message of design. So what I want to do is I want to remove this light leaks on this image to actually increase the visibility of the test. So to do that, I'll just head over to my spot healing brush tool, and then I have to make sure I'm on this layer. And what I want to do first is I want to rasterize this layer, and then I'll just scribble over the areas of the light that is showing on the test. The reason why I'm doing this is to increase the visibility for the write-up so that people can actually see the write-up easily. And what I want to do is I want to drag this up. So the final thing I'll be adding to this design is the logo or the image that shows that you can get this app from Google Play Store, you can get it from the Apple Store. So let me head over to my file folder to place this to my workspace. Okay, so you just have the two images right here. So let me just place them. Okay, I mistakenly placed that to the area that I have the clipping marks on. So let me just work on that quickly. So let me just zoom this a little bit to actually check whether they are at the same point. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to increase this just a little bit. Okay. So let me just get this one off. And then I'll move this right up to the place I have the logos. Then I'll name these to bottom. So that's just the name that I actually decided to use for the lower part of the design because I tried my best to arrange this work so as not to get confused at any certain point. And okay, I'm meant to name this top. So don't mind me, guys. At this point, I'm just cross-checking the designs and checking everything to make sure that it's actually okay. Then okay, this is the test that we have right here, and we all have the design looking very nice. So here you have it, guys, how to design a burger ad flyer for social media. As you can see, we actually showed the procedures and the steps you can use in making this. So do well to follow all those procedures and also do well to be able to add your own spice to the design. And with all that said and done, guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. And please, if you're new to this channel, do well to leave a sub and hit the bell icon to be notified each time I drop a new video. So I'll be trying my best to drop videos every week so that you guys can be up to date with basically how to design using Photoshop. So thank you, guys. Thank you for the support so far. Mess Graphics out. See you guys in my next video.